What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm back at it with another ramble again. I missed this Monday. I understand it sucks. Disappointed in myself. What the fudge is that? Oh, it's a mouse. Come on and eat, little buddy. But I'm on my break, so this one's going to be a pretty short one. And, you know, I don't know. I don't really plan on usually I don't plan on any kind of topics unless if I was I'm sitting there thinking about it really hard, you know what I mean? So then I'll go into I want to talk about this. So then that's how I kind of know what a title would be for it, right? So, but as always, there's somebody that struggles with staying positive, staying out of that negative mindset, and stuff like that, because it's easy to beat yourself up. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to not necessarily believe in yourself, and blame everybody, blame whoever, God, or somebody that looks like they're doing better off than you, or something like that, because we all hear people talk about that, like, well, this person capitalizes on them, or they're selfish, or some shit like that, and you don't really know the whole story of what they have to do to earn those things, so you just want to bash somebody and bring them down, and and just be negative, and you allow that to consume you and to think badly on. You kind of create this pit of negativity, and it just wells up, and it spreads out. It spreads out to everybody around you and stuff like that. Well, I'm not saying you specifically, but that's usually how it goes. And everybody that sees that negative, that ugly around their lives, a lot of times try to avoid it, right? Like myself, I'll just walk away. I'm a quiet person, but if I see it, I'll just walk away, ignore it, and just go on, because I'm like, dude, I ain't got time to be fucking negative. I'm trying to be as positive as I can be and thinking the best that I can, I'm out here living life just like everybody else. I'm just trying to teach my son how to be better, which is hard, it's difficult in itself. And, we all have those doubts of ourselves of like, am I being a good parent or not? Or did I approach this correctly? Or how can I do that better or something? Not everybody does that, but, I'm trying, because you're put into like a position like that, when you're harboring like that negative energy, it might sway how you treat those people in those situations, and you might take out your anger on your kids, or your spouse, or your whoever you're with. It might not even be your baby mama, because some stuff like that happened, and then that could be the problem, like, because you're still salty about those old wounds that haven't yet closed or something. Entirely possible. And I'm not one to judge about it, because human beings, we dwell on things that hurt us, and we've all been into a relationship that you've cared about somebody very deeply, but it ended abruptly, and it ended fast, and packed one hell of a punch, and you just let that pull you down, and your everyday actions, and how you think, and how you conduct yourself on a day-to-day. Sometimes, not all people, but quite a bit of people, right? But then you soon get over it, and stuff like that. But some people, they might never get over it, and they just harbor all that negative energy and negative thoughts and stuff like that. But you gotta push it behind you and step out and be positive. It's always easy to say, it's never easy to do, nor will it ever be. So, but you kind of look forward towards things. You find things that help keep you positive in your mindsets. Like you play, like I bring up playing sports and stuff like that. Try that, play some sports. If not, you like reading, freaking read a lot. Go explore, go fish, and go, write books or something. You ever thought about writing a book? go fucking write it. Had a friend recently jump on the podcast, Eli, and he's published a book. We're talking about doing another podcast here sometime, which I'm 100% down. Anybody wants to hit me up for a podcast, hit me up. Anybody in the past, obviously, more than welcome. You're always welcome to have a podcast with me. I love everybody, right? So you even be my enemy. I don't give a shit. I don't have enemies, I guess, but you know what I mean? It's just sometimes you just don't talk to people for a long time. But anyways, staying positive. Like we can ask next time we have him on, that could be like one of the questions of where did you start on writing books and stuff like that, and how did you start, or where did you go, or because that is a pretty major leap, and I'm sure it's mentally taxing to have to create something like that, because writing is an art form as well, and it's freaking awesome. So far, but I want to end up reading his first book, is the Legion of Monsters, and I'm on that. I started it when I did jury duty, and just because it's boring waiting down there. They didn't have any like Reader's Digest this time or anything like that. So anyways, I brought that book, started reading it. I do want to read first, and then maybe we'll have some pretty good questions about it, because got to talk to him a little bit and brought up the mailman thing, and it was like, part of the book, some of these things are happening with it, so maybe we'll get some juicy information about details of the book. I know the book's from 2016 or whatever, but I don't really care. Those, like, stuff like that, like what inspires some of these things in books, or like, to me it's freaking awesome. You get to hear the author's thoughts about it, if things were actually affecting them or people around them, or they, some people might have read it in the news, or it could be like some historical fact or something like that, like which historical fact created this character, stuff like that. What kind of research goes into creating a character, what, all those cool things, like, oh man, it's things like that keeps you from being negative too, like digging into stuff, researching stuff, and learning new things. Learning new things is always awesome. It's almost rewarding when you get to an end of whatever you're looking for, like you kind of accomplished something and stuff like that. And that's, and if you want to work out, that's like the same thing, like you got little goals that you keep achieving until you reach your bigger goal. And that's why I like sports and weightlifting and stuff, or anything in general that you have to do, that you have to dedicate yourself to, like a discipline, any kind of discipline, skateboarding, all that stuff. It all becomes relative, because the same concept comes to mind, is that you never truly be good at something unless if it makes you happy, and it makes you dedicate your time to doing it. You don't necessarily ever have to become the best or anything like that for you to appreciate it, or for it to have a major effect in your life and your thoughts on life, I guess, and how it affects you in your day-to-day, I always recommend sports, basketball and stuff like that, mainly because I played those sports growing up, I think that's what kept me out of a lot of like depressive mind state at a young age, like, I don't know, I had some crazy thoughts as a kid, almost like borderline psychopathic at times, but you come to terms with those things, and you find things that pulls you away from that thought and that thought process as a whole, and hopefully you do, and it keeps you away from that way of life, that way of life of being negative, and it'll take you places into a dark hole you might never come out from. So very lucky, very fortunate to have all the people in my life that taught me something or helped keep me away from that way of life, whether their actions were like the best or not, or best way to carry out. Sometimes if they think they're doing good, it might contribute to that way too, you know. So, but I always try to have a positive outlook on life too, you know, like give people the benefit of the doubt until they, ultimately go back on it, let them prove themselves through their actions, because nothing speaks louder than actions and things like that, and people always show themselves. That's what they say. They show their true colors, and, absolutely true. And, like they say, like cheater's always a cheater, a thief's always a thief type stuff. But I don't know, only if they show it through their actions. So they can always change. I believe in people can change from that stuff. When I was younger, young, dumb, and full of cum, you know what they say. And, I cheated on a girl, not proud of it. She cheated on me too, it happens. And sometimes you get in fucked up relationships like that. And, it's not funny. I'm laughing though, but it's because how dumb I was, how, I was gonna be this type of guy. You create this image in your head that you want to be as a young man. And, it's funny because life doesn't always go that way. Just because you feel like it, you don't stick to your guns, or you get into a fucked up relationship and you just like accept it, or you go along with it, or you allow it to change. You allow yourself to change sometimes, or you were just you wanted to be a person that you just never were in the first place. You know what I mean? Or you just got to go through those. You just actually got to experience those things for yourself to know sometimes. So, but I was also a thief, and my mother caught me. She whipped my ass for it. One of the longest ass whippings of my life. And the whole time she was telling me, where I was going to go if I continued down that path while she was whipping my ass. You know what I mean? And she was absolutely right. I could have easily went down that path. So could have so many young men and kids do nowadays, and they don't always get people that care, that'll be willing to whip their ass and tell them what's up, I remember I used to cry about it, and my buddy's like, man, I wish I had somebody that told me that. I had nobody corrected that. Nobody even gave a fuck. Nobody cared. And I was like, damn, man, that's deep for me. Like, I went from thinking negative to starting thinking positive about it, like I had it better than a lot of people, man. And a lot of people have it worse, and a lot of people had it worse than that guy. You know what I mean? So even though he had a bad time, nobody taught him, he can learn now. He had people that could help him, but he chose not to change at that time, and maybe he changed down the road. I don't know. If he did, that's his story to tell, and that's awesome. It's beautiful, and I always wish the best for people when they got to. So, but the bottom line though, for that change to happen, is you got to be positive. Your mindset's got to change too at the same time. Mindsets create actions. Sometimes things that happen in your life can push you around and change you. You can go from wanting to be somebody to actually being the opposite of that before you know it. And even if you never intended to or anything like that, but it doesn't mean you can't turn around and do better, or try to make things right, or, try to mend those wounds that were created. And, don't dwell on that stuff sometimes. And you just got to look at the pluses more than the negatives, the minuses. So, but anyways, break time's over. I got to go back in, guys. If you're new here and you like this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. I do appreciate it, and welcome to the family. If you're returning, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning back in. Love you guys. Peace.